Hi everybody. Happy Weekly Wednesday Live. I'm Vegan Coach Naomi, and we do this live session in our group, Going Vegan for Health with Vegan Coach Naomi, every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So every week we do a different topic and a different sort of a topic so that you can learn more about whole food plant-based diets and so that you can make choices about what you want to eat and go from there. So tonight I decided let's talk about alcohol because we never did before, and it's kind of a sticky subject which nobody really talks about. And I think it's because you're talking about, removing all the animal products from your diet. And so I guess you don't also want to say, and the alcohol and the soda and the junk food and like everything else. So that we don't overwhelm people. Hi, Rita. How are you? So I thought tonight we'd talk about alcohol because alcohol is a big deal, especially in the United States and also in Europe. And, I'm wondering, and lots of other people might be wondering, if alcohol is part of a whole food plant-based diet, yes or no? So I like to think, hi Sharon, how are you? So I like to ask myself, what is the benefit of this thing that I'm eating or drinking or doing or choosing? And so I thought that we would think about this, since this is a group all about reversing disease and taking personal responsibility for your health. I thought we'd look at alcohol, at what role alcohol plays in that whole process to make a decision for yourself whether you want to drink it or not. I'd love to hear from Rita and Sharon if you think that alcohol is a safe part of a whole food plant-based diet, and if so, why, or if not, why, and let's delve into it. Gracie, nice to see you on one of these calls. Hey, we're talking about alcohol and a whole food plant-based diet, yes or no? So the first thing we're going to look at is cancer, and that's because I'm a breast cancer survivor. So pretty much every choice I make is, does this thing cause cancer? And so the research is very clear that alcohol is a probable, not a possible, a probable link to increased risk of at least 6 cancers. And here's what they are. And then I'd love to hear what all these cancers have in common. Bowel, breast, mouth, pharynx, larynx, esophageal, that's this thing, liver, and stomach. So 6 cancers it's probably linked to, not possibly, probable. And what I think is that, except for the breast cancer one, those are all the places that touch the alcohol. So your mouth, your pharynx, your larynx, all your throat parts, it goes through your liver, it goes into your stomach, through your liver, and down into your bowel. And those are all the places the alcohol touches, and those are the 6 linked cancers to alcohol. So it's definitely been classified as a carcinogen because it breaks down into a toxic chemical called acetaldehyde. And this chemical, when it hits your cells, it damages the DNA, and it also prevents repair of this DNA. So, hi Barbara, I haven't met you on one of these lives before. Welcome to the group. We're talking about alcohol and a whole food plant-based diet. So it definitely breaks down into this toxic cell-damaging chemical and prevents this repair. And so that would allow cancer cells to proliferate. And they have found that alcohol increases estrogen levels, which is dangerous for women, breast cancer survivors like me, with estrogen-sensitive tumors. So that's the reason that I made the personal decision not to drink alcohol anymore. And I'm going to tell you, I am the same as you guys. I used to love to have a glass of wine, after working all day or while I was cooking my dinner. And I probably had one most nights, maybe 4 or 5 nights a week. I would have one glass of wine because I'm a very big lightweight. So that's what I was like before I had cancer. And then once I learned all of this stuff about the link between alcohol and cancer, I really stopped drinking it. But let's look at some of the other things that they say about alcohol and health. So you've probably heard that recommendation to drink a glass of red wine a day for cardiovascular health. Have you guys heard that one? Or is anybody doing that on purpose for that reason? Because moderate use of alcohol, which is 1 ounce, so 1 drink for women, 2 for men, has been shown to reduce the risk of heart disease, and it has many mechanisms. One is on cholesterol, increasing HDL cholesterol, the good cholesterol, and another one is because of the antioxidants in the grapes. So, but here's what Dr. McDougall says, and he is one of the plant-based experts. He says, yeah, it's known to help prevent heart disease, but it also dramatically increases your risk of dying of liver disease, cancer, violence, and accidents. And because of that, Dr. McDougall, Lydia says yes. Yes to what? Yes to the wine drinking because of heart health? Let me know what you think about that. Stephanie, yay! Hi, Stephanie. Stephanie is my friend from town, from yoga, and every time I see her beautiful face, I just say, yay! So Lydia, comment in there if you're drinking red wine or some kind of alcohol on purpose for heart health. So Dr. McDougall says because of that risk of dying of these other things, Rita says, I have read, yes, yeah, many wines and types of alcohol are not vegan for what Rita's saying. They're processed through pig bladders and other animal parts. And so many beers and many wines are not vegan. Gracie, I do see your comments. That's the first one I'm seeing, though. Lydia says, yes, I've heard that it can help with heart health, and I like to use that as an excuse to drink red wine. Okay, so let's keep talking about this and see if, Lydia's also young. So let's keep talking about this and see if it bears any weight, okay? So Dr. McDougall advises all in his healthcare system to decrease their alcohol consumption or reduce it dramatically. So, okay, so if you want heart health, aren't there better ways to increase your cardiovascular health than drinking alcohol? So there's exercise, there's the whole food plant-based diet, which increases your heart health, clears your arteries, reduces high cholesterol, reduces blood pressure. So there are some really much better ways, especially exercise, to increase your cardiovascular health. So let's keep talking about it. So when it comes to heart health, one camp says yes, another camp says no. So like after we sort of talk about all these things, you guys can make your own choices about how you want to approach it. Hi, Amy. Nice to see you. We just finished talking about alcohol and cancer. Maybe I will recap that. June just popped on. She says, hello, I just remembered you were live. Yes, I'm on live, and we're talking about alcohol and a whole food plant-based diet. We just talked about alcohol and cancer. Hi, Rosanna. We just talked about alcohol and heart health. Maybe I'll recap all this. And now let's talk about alcohol and diabetes. So it's possible that you don't consider alcohol to be food or to be part of what you're eating or part of your whole food plant-based diet, or you sort of just put it on the fringe. I know it's fun. So like I said, I used to drink before I had cancer. I used to drink about a glass of wine a day while I was cooking dinner. So I know how enjoyable that can be. Also to go out with friends. Also, at my workshops at yoga studios, I often serve wine as part of the workshop, and nobody has ever abused alcohol, and these are all really health conscious people. Sharon say alcohol may have some beneficial effects on the heart per the Harvard Health Studies. Yes, Google it. That's true. That is what has been shown. Anyway, at my workshops, nobody has ever abused the alcohol. They all have one, maybe two, while they're rolling vegan sushi or making burrito bowls. Lydia says, yeah, I didn't even realize that some wines and beers were not 100% vegan. Wow. Most beers and wines are not vegan. You have to search out the vegan brands, and you can see a list of that on PETA.org. And vodka is vegan. That I know for sure. Some of the hard liquors, they really are vegan. But that's really not what we're talking about. But, you know, as an animal activist and advocate, so I also don't drink them because they're not vegan. So we were talking about alcohol and diabetes. And I was saying how lots of people don't really consider the alcohol as part of their food intake. But actually, it is. It causes weight gain. It could be one of the reasons you can't lose weight if you're drinking on a daily basis. And I know a lot of people drink on a daily basis and not just one glass of wine. So, did you know that alcohol contains 7 calories per gram? That's almost as much as fat, which contains 9 calories per gram, compared to protein, which contains 4, and carbohydrates, which also contains 4 calories per gram. And these calories have 0 nutritional value, and they're made up of sugar. So, 1 pint of beer has as many calories as a whole slice of pizza. That's around 200 calories. So if you were drinking that pint of beer, and then maybe you went for another pint of beer, all of a sudden you're really taking in a lot of extra calories of 0 nutrition, and they're sugar calories. They're broken down into glucose and sugar, and that's it. Aside from the cell-damaging acetaldehyde. So when it comes to diabetes, you're adding more sugar to an already overloaded system of too much glucose in the bloodstream. So especially if you're overweight, your body really is not going to handle that properly, and it's only going to exacerbate your diabetes in a very pronounced way. Some other reasons that alcohol is not good for diabetes or for somebody who's overweight is because you lose your inhibitions within a few sips of whatever you're drinking. And so that makes you more likely to A, overdrink, and B, overeat, and C, overeat poor choices. So, and that could be like while you're sitting there cooking and you're eating cheese and crackers, vegan cheese and crackers, or it could be when you're out with friends and you just say, screw it, I'm just going to order this. Rita says, diabetics need to do their best to keep their liver healthy. The meds already work against us. Yes, that's true. I'm getting to the whole liver. So that's very true, but that's not the primary reason. The primary reason alcohol is not good for diabetes is what I said before. It causes weight gain, it turns into glucose, and it stresses your already stressed insulin resistance that's happening in your body. So it's very dangerous. So, plus you tend to overdrink and overeat more poor choices. Not only that, it causes a hangover. And even if you only drink 1 glass a day of something, 1 beer, 1 glass of wine, you could have like what you don't even realize is like a permanent hangover where you wake up a little irritable, you may be a little fuzzy, you sort of feel stressed, maybe you didn't sleep well, maybe you don't always sleep well, you're a little dehydrated, you're lethargic. All of that could be caused by the glass of alcohol you're having in the evening. So that's something to think about, and that also makes it more probable that you won't exercise. You will not have the motivation to cook something new or do something new. And this permanent state of sort of hangover that's not like a pounding headache letting you know that you did it, this sort of a permanent state is something you might not even realize until you really make an effort to like not have the alcohol. And this is for somebody who might be drinking every day. So also, alcohol is a depressant. So last week, we talked all about depression and feeling trapped in a health issue. So like as a cancer survivor, you know, when I first came out of treatment and I was terribly depressed, not knowing what to do and how was I going to keep cancer away. So if I was drinking alcohol, it's a depressant. It's likely to make you more depressed and more confused and feel worse and zap your motivation to do anything else or make any decisions or listen to your intuition or hear your higher power or just like any of that stuff. Gracie says, I wish my comments would show up. I can see your comments, Gracie. What are you saying that I can't see? I see that you just said that. Try again. Because I am seeing that you just said that, and I'm sorry too. Try again, okay? Tell me what you're saying. And did you know that alcohol disturbs your sleep rhythms? So you might have thought alcohol could help you sleep because you feel sort of tired. Because you feel sort of tired when you drink it, but you fall into a deep sleep quick, and then the alcohol disturbs your sleep rhythms, and you have more REM sleep than deep sleep, and you wake up feeling not so well rested. And that's a fact that they have found out. So, so if you're using it to sort of calm yourself down and, you know, help you sleep, and then you find yourself waking up in the night having to pee, not being able to go back to sleep, having fitful sleep, feeling restless in the morning, these are all signs that the alcohol is disturbing your sleep. And like we already discussed, alcohol is not vegan. And the last thing, because this whole thing is about alcohol and a whole food plant-based diet, is alcohol really a whole food? Holly says, Gracie, I see your comments. And I see your comments too, Gracie. And I'm talking right to you, so I hope you can hear me. And tell me again, comment again, just type it in what you're saying. So is alcohol a whole food? So if you think about how we described oil as not being a whole food because you press it out of the olive, and it's just the fat portion of the olive, alcohol is the same way. It's fermented from the grape, and it does not include all of the fiber, all of the antioxidants. It doesn't include the vitamins, the minerals, most of the fluids. It doesn't include most of the grape. So I feel like if you want the antioxidants from the grapes, that you should eat the grapes, the red ones with the skins. And that's really the best whole food way to get those antioxidants. That's what I think. So that's what I do for heart health, aside from, you know, physical activity, which boosts cardiovascular health, and the whole food plant-based diet. So there's kind of a lot of reasons not to drink alcohol if your primary goal is to reverse a disease or a health issue that you want to overcome. Like, I want to overcome breast cancer. Ray says, the older I get, the less I can tolerate. I am 50. That is so true, but I have been a lightweight my entire life. I've known my husband since I was 18, and he has jokes about me being 20 years old and drinking and how silly I got. So I've always been a lightweight, and I'm thankful for that. So I totally know what you're saying, Ray. What was I saying? So if you really want to overcome, you know, a health issue, then it's really worth it to think about this alcohol thing. And if you're not drinking alcohol already, then you don't have to think about it at all. So, and that's fantastic. So if you're trying to lose weight, though, think about your alcohol consumption. And if you're trying to reverse diabetes, alcohol might not really be the best thing for you. And if you have cancer like me, alcohol is not a good idea. So, who has any questions about any of this alcohol stuff? Did I answer all your questions? We talked about whether it's a whole food. We talked about different ways that it can affect your health, like sleep, like being a depressant, like dehydration. Priscilla says alcohol can also inhibit the effects of medications. Yes, that's very true. I didn't even have that on my list. If you are on lots of medications, which many of you are, and trying to get off of, it's very important for you to look on the side effects and contraindications thing to make sure that alcohol is not going to cause a dangerous side effect with your medication. So that's very true. Τι you for pointing that out. That is something I did not even have on my list. I was focused on what role alcohol plays in, the disease process and trying to reverse the disease. I feel like alcohol is just going to make it harder to do. Now that I've talked about all these things, do you think that too? Monica says hello. Hi, Monica. We're almost done with this conversation, but when I stop the live stream, you can go back to the video and start it from the beginning, and then you can hear everything that we said. We talked about alcohol and cancer, we talked about alcohol and heart health, and we talked about alcohol and diabetes. And when it comes to the heart health, there's some studies, all of this is confusing, right? Because some studies say, yes, it has shown that it improves. Ray says it definitely stalls weight loss. How do you know? Sharon says you don't have cancer anymore as they treated it and you are preventing it from recurring. Yes, I am definitely preventing cancer recurrence, and they have found that there is a very strong link between increased risk of breast cancer recurrence specifically and all types of alcohol. And when I read that study, and that just came like a year ago, I was like, okay, no more, never having it. So that's what I mean by, I like to ask, what's the benefit of this thing I'm eating or doing? Like, is there any risk to it? Is there a benefit to it? That's kind of the thing when you're thinking about adopting a whole food plant-based diet, and you're thinking, in comparison to like a paleo diet or a keto diet. Like, even in the cancer community, there is confusion about whether a keto diet is better than a whole food plant-based diet. But if you weigh it against, is there any downside to this thing I'm doing? So a paleo diet and a keto diet stresses high fat and high animal protein, and there is a downside because animal protein turns cancer cells on, and the more fat you have on your body, the more it turns cancer cells on. So there is a downfall. So then I would not choose that. So then if you think about a whole food plant-based diet, is there any downfall with that? Is there any downfall? Is there any negative side effect with that? Priscilla says, I read an article that said alcohol can keep us from reaping the rewards of the healthy foods we eat. Yeah, that's probably true. I don't even know. I think alcohol makes it so that you eat less healthy foods because you might not feel like cooking it as much. But Stephanie says, is it healing or supporting my mind, body, or soul, or is it damaging or slowing it down? Yes. Ask yourself these questions about the things that you're doing. For example, I love yoga. Stephanie is my yoga friend, and I love yoga so much. And yoga has helped give me my life back after breast cancer treatment and helped me get the range of motion back in my arms. But recently, I hurt one of my arms, and I can't do yoga the way I was, and every time I try to go, it hurts my arm really bad. So for just a few weeks, I need to take time off because it's damaging me and slowing down my progress. So what the thing was that was really helping me is damaging me right now just because I have like this injury. And I'm sure that that will change, and then I'll be able to reevaluate that and say, yes, it doesn't hurt anymore, and now I can go back to yoga because it strengthens and supports me. Priscilla says, agreed, Stephanie. Yeah, I love the way Stephanie said that. That was fantastic. So that's a great way to weigh the pros and cons of the choices that you make every day, no matter what they are. So, does anybody have any other great... Carrie says, alcohol is not great for sugar and empty calories. Yes, Carrie, we discussed that when we were discussing alcohol and diabetes. It is high in calories, it breaks down into sugar, and they are empty calories. So, you are 100% correct in that assessment. Rosanna says, I loved running until I hurt my knee. Cindy! Hi, Cindy. How are you? I love seeing Cindy. She's my friend from my vegan coaching certification class in New York City. Yay! I have people on here from just literally everywhere. So we're just about done discussing this unless anybody has any other questions. Cindy, if you want to know more about what we all discussed about alcohol and a whole food plant-based diet, restart the video when I sign off. Sharon says, alcohol blocks the making of testosterone in me. Then the guy has chronic fatigue. In men, she must have meant in men. Guys have chronic fatigue, decreased libido, and more. Oh, wow. Cindy says, I'm doing fine. I didn't know that, Sharon. Wow. Carrie says, I chimed in late. Sorry I missed it. I'll rewatch. Yeah, I love all of these comments. You guys really added a lot. Somebody added a point about making sure your medications do not interact negatively. And Stephanie said something fantastic about weighing whether this thing you're doing supports you or not. Yeah, Sharon says in men. Cindy says she's trying to reduce her intake. It's not like I drink every day, but still. So yeah, so we talked about that. And so the recommendation, I think, is, Cindy says, ooh, I'm doing kombucha instead of beer. Good. Lydia says, thanks for addressing this topic, Naomi. Why? Did I have an effect? Poor Lydia. Carrie says, I've reduced my intake of alcohol and now it tastes so different, I don't enjoy it as much. Do you guys, like, since I don't drink anymore, if I take one sip, I feel it burn down into me, and I can feel the alcohol right away. And I sort of turned it into my mind as like poison, which that keeps me from drinking it. But instead of thinking it's the drunk feeling, I now think that burning, warm feeling, it just goes right through you. I feel like it's poison. For all of these reasons that we discussed, and mostly for the breast cancer recurrence reason. Carrie says, yes on kombucha and water. Yes. And you're right. I just don't enjoy it as much as I used to. And also, it did make me have to make me have to wake up in the middle of the night and pee. It did disturb my sleep. Yeah, same here. Yeah. Rosanna says, kombucha is good. I have a glass of wine occasionally. So an interesting thing is I'm going to be doing these, workshops at this new place opening in my town called the Welcome Om Center. It's going to be this giant wellness center. And we were talking about what kinds of little presentations could I do, like on Friday and Saturday nights or whatever. And I told them that I do this, where I show how I make sushi, but it's not the full workshop where you roll your own, and that I served wine, and that people really like the wine. They really like to unwind with that. And the medical director said, there's a lot of alcoholism in our county. It's really very serious. We don't want to support wine drinking. And I said, yeah, I don't drink either. I'm totally with you. And she said, let's do kombucha tastings. And I was like, yeah, let's do kombucha tastings. So I think that that's great. So Carrie says, make your own kombucha and kefir. Not kefir because it's animal-based, but you could probably make one out of soy yogurt. Rosanna says, yay. What's the yay? Damon just popped on. Hi, Damon. We had a big discussion. Carrie said, I'd love to join you there and I can give a seminar on medical cannabis. You know what? I'll talk to Dr. Maria about that. Rosanna says, I can't wait till you do this, Naomi. I will be there. Oh, the kombucha tasting. Oh. Cindy says there's coconut kefir. Who's that made by? I didn't know that. Carrie says water kefir, not milk. What's water kefir? I don't know what that is. Oh, I'm not hopping off this live stream until I find out. Mary says hi. Hi, Mary. Carrie, tell me, what is water kefir? Maybe she's typing furiously and I can't even wait to find out. Priscilla says, me too. You want to find out what water kefir is? I'm going to have to look that up afterwards. This has been a fantastic conversation, which just goes to show you that there's lots to say about alcohol. Cindy says, it depends on where you're at. You can buy a vegan version of kefir starter. Priscilla says, water kefir? And Carrie says, I'm linking it. Okay, so it'll be in the comments so that we can click on it and read about it. Because that sounds interesting, as long as there's no animal products in that, because that's what this group is, vegan. Priscilla says, yes. All right, does anybody have any more questions or comments on alcohol? So we can all go into the comments where Carrie linked that and we can look at what water kefir is and have a fun discussion on it. Maybe I can make some. And Carrie, I will talk to Dr. Maria about the cannabis thing and let you know. Okay? Oh, she's got another one. Wow, I can't believe I never heard of this. I have a bug bite on my forehead. Can you see that? Cindy says kombucha is very easy to make. Yeah, we have people at the yoga studio who have a SCOBY and share it around and they make it. So I have heard that. Carrie's linking another thing so we can see what the difference is and what it really means. Carrie says thanks. Okay, so and Cindy says she drinks it when she wants that effervescence from the beer, but not alcohol, right? That's a good idea. I never even thought of that. So I'm going to look into this and see if, Lydia says, yum, yeah, I used to make kombucha, but my boyfriend complained about the kitchen smelling like vinegar. Well, you know what? I clean my whole house with vinegar, so there's that. All right, so this was a great discussion, and Sharon says, I'm interested in the cannabis thing too. We should live stream it. I'll see if we can do that. The Chamber of Commerce has a healthcare connections here in Hernando County, and we meet once a month at one of the assisted living facilities, and last month it was on cannabis, medical marijuana, and how to navigate that, I guess, in our county, or what it was all about. So, everybody's interested in cannabis. Look at that. Carrie, we should do a joint live stream to teach people what their questions are. So maybe I'll do a post and I'll find out what everybody's questions are. Maybe we could do something fun like that. Mary says, maybe this isn't going to work out between us. What does that mean? Carrie says, everyone is welcome to message me. Yeah, Carrie is a cannabis coach right here in Spring Hill. And we now have legal medical marijuana. Is that correct? So so she probably can help figure out how you can get a prescription and then how you can get it filled and all of that. So this has been a fantastic conversation. And I loved seeing all you guys on here, and keep the questions coming. If you missed the beginning, all about the alcohol, I'd love to hear what you decided about it, or what you learned, or what you now think about it. And I love seeing you guys every Wednesday on the live. Okay? So I'll see you in the group. Carrie says, actually, I'm in Pasco, Port Richey, but I do travel. All right. See you guys next week on Wednesday, and I see you every day in the group. Keep posting your pictures and your recipes, and anybody who needs help sticking to their whole food plant-based diet, or who is, you know, really serious about overcoming their serious diabetes, heart disease, fear of cancer recurrence, and wants private coaching or wants to be in one of my weight loss groups, please private message me and we can do a 30-minute free health turnaround coaching call, and I'll put the link for that so you can, you know, schedule a time with me to do that. And I will see everybody in the group. Good night, everybody.